Deion Sanders breaks his silence with powerful prayer as Shedeur Sanders faces NFL cut threat from Browns. Introduction: the weight of a name and the shadow of a legacy. The name Sanders echoes loudly in the halls of football greatness. It's not just a surname. It's a legacy, a standard, and a constant comparison. When your father is Deion Coach Prime Sanders, a Hall of Fame cornerback, electrifying return man, and now a headline-grabbing college coach, the expectations don't just rise, they skyrocket. For Shedeur Sanders, Deion's youngest son and former Colorado Buffaloes quarterback, the journey to make his mark in the NFL is becoming more turbulent than triumphant. In a turn of events that has shocked both fans and insiders, reports now suggest that the Cleveland Browns, who drafted Shedeur in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, are leaning toward cutting ties with the 22-year-old quarterback. As speculation grows, Coach Prime himself has responded, not with fire and fury, but with faith. And that faith, expressed through a powerful public prayer, may be just the emotional lifeline Shedeur needs during the most critical moment of his budding professional career. The Browns' quarterback logjam, a crowded room with no room for error. When Shedeur Sanders was selected by the Cleveland Browns with the 160th overall pick, the headlines wrote themselves. Coach Prime's son heads to the NFL. Sanders to Cleveland. But the fanfare was quickly tempered by reality. Cleveland's quarterback room is among the most crowded and competitive in the entire NFL. Deshaun Watson, still recovering from a shoulder injury, remains the presumed starter when healthy. Behind him are veteran signal callers Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, both of whom have starting experience and reputations as capable leaders. Then there's Dillon Gabriel, another rookie QB picked ahead of Shedeur, who's also fighting for a spot on the roster. Given that NFL teams typically carry only 3 quarterbacks on their 53-man roster, the writing is on the wall. 1, maybe 2, of these names will not make the final cut. And according to multiple team insiders, the odd man out might be Shedeur Sanders. Coach Prime's prayer, a father's heartfelt plea for his son's path. Through all the media noise, Deion Sanders has remained mostly silent about his son's position in Cleveland until now. Taking to X, formerly Twitter, Coach Prime delivered a cryptic yet soul-stirring message that many believe was directly addressed to Shedeur. I pray you make it through this test and turn it into a testimony. Your job, your relationship, your finances, and your entire situation, I pray for it to become what you want it to be, or that you find better, do better, and live better. You deserve what you want and need. Believe. Though Deion never mentioned his son by name, fans and followers instantly connected the dots. The timing of the tweet, just as reports emerged about Shedeur's uncertain status in Cleveland, made it all too obvious. Coach Prime wasn't just tweeting. He was speaking into the storm his son was standing in. From Boulder to Browns, a statistical resume with questions still unanswered. Shedeur's college numbers are no fluke. In 2 seasons under his father at Colorado, Shedeur passed for a staggering 7,364 yards, threw 64 touchdowns, and committed just 13 interceptions. Standing 6 feet 1 inch and weighing 212 pounds, he has both mobility and a powerful arm, making him one of the most effective dual-threat quarterbacks in college football during the 2023 and 2024 seasons. In 2023, the Buffaloes had a disappointing 4-8 record, but Shedeur's talent stood out as a lone bright spot. In 2024, both the team and Shedeur showed signs of maturity and improvement. Yet despite all the potential, it's evident that NFL teams remain skeptical, possibly due to concerns about his ability to adapt to pro-level defenses, or perhaps due to the nepotism cloud that follows him because of Coach Prime's high-profile involvement. But make no mistake, if Shedeur didn't have NFL-level skill, he wouldn't be in the conversation at all. The question now isn't whether he's talented, it's whether Cleveland is the right fit for his growth. A shocking possibility. Could Shedeur Sanders really end up in the CFL? As the Browns weigh their quarterback options, some have floated the idea that if Shedeur is cut, he might look north, to the Canadian Football League, CFL, for his next opportunity. It's a jarring thought for fans who saw Shedeur as a future face of an NFL franchise. But would it actually happen? Sports Illustrated's Matthew Schmidt doesn't think so. While there is no guarantee that Sanders will be a smashing success for the Browns right off the bat, it also seems incredibly hard to imagine the signal caller heading to play football in Canada. Barring a drastic turn of events, it just isn't happening. Even so, Schmidt adds that if the NFL dream stalls temporarily, the CFL is a door that could eventually open. And that's the reality facing young QBs today. When options narrow in the NFL, global football markets become more attractive, even for those with iconic surnames. Father and son, Deion's battle to protect his children from a harsh league. Coach Prime has often faced criticism for the way he coaches his sons, accusations that he's overprotective, even a pageant mom in cleats. But those who know Deion best understand that he's not just a coach, he's a father first. And right now, that father is watching his son's dream tremble in the balance. His prayer may be public, but his pain is private. This isn't just about football, it's about family, legacy, and emotional survival. Deion has built an empire on confidence and charisma. But watching Shedeur navigate this uncertainty is a humbling reminder that no amount of fame or fortune can shield one's children from life's harshest lessons. All a parent can do is guide, support, and pray. The battle in Browns camp. 3 men, 1 spot, 0 guarantees. The Browns coaching staff has a tough decision ahead. Deshaun Watson, once considered their franchise QB, is still an injury risk. Joe Flacco has Super Bowl experience, but he's in the twilight of his career. Kenny Pickett has promise, but failed to fully impress in Pittsburgh. Dylan Gabriel is younger and perhaps more flexible in terms of role. So where does that leave Shedeur? He's reportedly not getting many first-team reps in training camp. Some insiders say he's fallen to QB4 in the depth chart, despite his tenacity and impressive showings in OTA workouts. It's a brutal reality. The NFL is less about potential and more about timing. And right now, time might not be on Shedeur's side. What happens next? The path forward for Shedeur Sanders. As the preseason nears, Shedeur has one final shot to change the narrative. A strong showing in exhibition games could keep him on the 53-man roster, or at least get him signed to the practice squad. But even if Cleveland lets him go, all hope is far from lost. Several NFL teams have expressed interest in young quarterbacks with mobility, arm strength, and leadership qualities. The right team may come calling, whether it's for a practice squad spot, a backup role, or even as part of a longer developmental plan. One thing's for sure, Shedeur Sanders isn't done, not by a long shot. Conclusion: a test, a prayer, and a promise of more to come. Shedeur Sanders' journey is a modern-day football parable. A gifted young man burdened by expectation, fighting to make his name under the weight of another's legacy. And at the center of it all is his father, Deion Sanders, offering not just wisdom, but spiritual support. In a league known for its brutality, where contracts are short and patience even shorter, faith becomes a rare but powerful ally. And Coach Prime knows it. That's why he prayed, not just for success, but for strength. Not just for wins, but for worth. Whether Shedeur remains in Cleveland or takes his talents elsewhere, this chapter isn't the end. It's just the test before the testimony. And if Deion's prayer holds any weight, Shedeur Sanders is about to write the next great comeback story in football.